Hey guys, welcome back to Maxplained, Dawn of War Unification. Today I have another faction guide for you, this time for the Praetorian Guard. The Praetorian Guard is a Imperial Guard regiment that is inspired by the British colony, empire, British Commonwealth, or whatever it's called. You see it on the funny hats and the uniforms and stuff. They are currently one of the strongest faction considered in the mod in this version. We will see that in when I'm going through each unit and stuff, so I can explain why some units are considered very strong and maybe give some insights on what may or may not be changed in the upcoming versions. Yeah, but other than that, they are very unique. You can fit a whole bunch of infantry, which is normal for Imperial Guard, very squishy infantry. But you also have the axis of the Blood Axe Mercs, which are orc mercs, which will fight for them. So there you have some additional unit variety coming from them. And in general, yeah, very unique in some of the ways. The listing posts are unique and stuff like that. We will see more in the replay. And here we are on the save game, where we have a really cool map. I used the map Birmingham, which is kind of fitting, don't you think, for the British Imperial Guard here. As usual, before we go over the units and stuff, we're quickly talking about resources and unit caps. The resources are super standard. You get requisition, you get power requisition from your HQ, from listing posts, upgrading your listing posts, and resource upgrades. Power is similar, you get it from generators, thermoplasma generators, and of course the resource upgrades. Right, it's a little special is in the unit caps. You start off with the standard 10-0, but how you implement it, increase it, is different. The cap, the 2020 cap, is also standard, but yeah, for infantry, you get one more population for your infantry building, which is over here, the Soldier's Mess. The Soldier's Mess itself gives you +1 infantry pop, but I also have these floor add-ons, which are enabled in tier 2. And each of these floor, it's multiplied by 50 for this game mode, provides one more infantry pop, and also the building grows taller. And you would need a second soldier mess to get into the maximum of 20 infantry pop. For vehicle pop, you get 2 from your vehicle production building over here, and +5 per munition store over here, which is kind of like an armory tactical control, but we will talk more in detail what this building is all about later on. Yeah, and then you need up to 4 of these munition stores to get to the maximum of 20 for your vehicles. This is the pop and stuff out of the way. Now we can talk about the buildings. The buildings, you have your HQ, which is your standard HQ, gives you your first capping units, your builders, some commander units later on in tier 2, like a squad units you can attach. 2 commander upgrades over here. Uncommon Valor, which increases the HP of commanders, and this is also an upgrade in tier 2 or 3, which increases the armor of all squad leaders. And you have also here a special tier 4 unit as well. You can upgrade, give an add-on to it once, which is your tier 2, and yeah, your tier 3 you get differently. Your unit production buildings, we had already talked about the Soldier's Mess, which is all your infantry, your quote-unquote normal guard infantry. You have your irregulars here, but your regulars are here, which are your standard fighting units. Your tier 1 commander is also here, your lieutenant colonel, as well as the commissar, and later on the scout major, which is the commanders you get from here. In tier 2 you get different teams like mortars, heavy gatling teams, anti-tank teams, and in tier 3 you get grenadiers. I told you before that there's also like the orcs unit ground, the orc Blood Axe encampment grounds, which is also available in tier 2 right away, which enables all your different Blood Axe mercs. You have basically standard orcs, you have bomb squeaks, which are as amazing as it sounds. In tier 2 you get like a crot tank, which is also as amazing as it sounds, a killer can. In tier 3 onwards you get commandos and stuff like that, all the different units, and also some upgrades for them, which gives them more armor and melee damage later on the line. In tier 2 you get also access to your Gryphon 4 pattern vehicle forge. Quite a mouthful for, yeah, it's your vehicle building. Gives you all your non-orcish vehicles like chimeras, griffins and stuff like that, vultures. They do not have access to hellhounds, we will see later on. In terms of upgrade and research and stuff buildings, you have quite the assortment over here, which have all also additional uses to them. You have your aid station over here, which gives you access to your guardsman upgrades, like your stiff upper lip, which is basically giving you more health and morale. And then you have some tea, which increases the health. And these are your tier 1 upgrades, and your tier 2 upgrades are again more health and morale. And then you have tea with biscuits for your range of the guardsman weapons, which is basically like basically more or less the same of your Imperial Guard upgrades. Then you have the munition store. Also the aid station also gives you a health regeneration all around it, as the name suggests, and can be built anywhere. So this can also be put in a forward position you're in and you want some sustain over there. You can put an aid station next to a turret, for example, or next to your infantry. Very helpful for units that have more health, so not very helpful for your regulars and regulars because they do not have enough health. But if you have a Blood Axe Merc push going on, even with like more armor stuff, these aid station can be very helpful. It is also available in tier 1. Munition store the same, available in tier 1, gives you different weapon upgrades for your commanders. The Binatural increases the melee damage of all your guardsmen, which is something I have never really used. And then you have the Martini pattern rifle, increases guardman rage damage. We will talk about what special weapons the regulars have when we are talking about the units. And lastly, you can put in up to 4 units inside of this bunker kind of building that will shoot out similar to how Imperial Guard units shoot out. The first one is less cannons and more weapons on it. Tier 3 actually is research from your vehicle pattern, and this tier 4 is a building, the Sacred Company standard, where you have my icon, of course. This is your tier 4 building in terms of tech, but also provides some bonuses around it. Improves health and morale of any units near it, so there you go. And has also the researches in it for tier 1 and tier 2 titans. Your defensive buildings, you have of course your listening posts, but the listening posts are special in different ways. They have also a space for units inside, similar to the munition stores. So they have a tunnel network going, the munition stores and the LPs, and these are the only buildings actually with the tunnel network, just so you know. And so they can shoot less guns out, but there are no active weapons on it. You have, however, different call-in strikes you can call in. The Strafing Run, Valkyrie Strike and Vulture Strike. For the Strafing one, I think you need a munition store and also an upgraded listening post. So if you have a listening post that is not upgraded, like this one, you need to upgrade it once so you can use these strikes. And for the other strikes, you need like tier 2, I think, for the Valkyrie Strike, and the Vulture Strike needs tier 2 and the Vehicle Production Building. And both need an LP3 to be fired. So this is an incentive actually to go to an LP3, which you normally would not go, because these strikes are really nice. Look at it go. Okay, I think it should get a bomb here. I do not know, maybe there's something missing on the FX. Also, like, these bombs are really nice. Also see that each of these strikes gives you a little indicator if you're the opponent. If these lights go on, you might want to position your units. Lastly, right away available is the Propaganda Podcast, which gives morale. Deploy a loud burst of spraying Boogaloo credit tragedies causes the enemy trample cowardly boots. So this is similar to the Lord Halos from Sisters of Battle, giving your enemy morale damage around them. Then of course you have the Orc Bunker. The Orc Bunker, you see, cannot be put in units from other sides. It's a very good turret. The attack range is pretty high, big damage, relatively costly. And it can transport Orc units instead. And yeah, this we already saw. If you get like different of these Orc bunkers, you can tunnel around. But okay, there's a little icon bug actually over here. But yeah, you know what I mean. You get your units inside over here. Very good turret indeed. Then in tier 3 you have access to the mortar emplacement. There's still some left over from the previous implementation, that it starts with this very low ranged unit, and you need to get an upgrade which increases the range to your normal artillery upgrade. Not sure if this is intended or if it will be made that it's always like this. In the previous version you could get a mortar next to the Orc bunker in tier 1, and then you got an upgrade in tier 2 I think, or even tier 3. These are your most of your buildings, but the people with an... Okay, of course you have your generators, which are not very special in any way. What is special however is one building, quote unquote, you can get here, which is the TARDIS, which is amazing as it sounds. Get over here. We have this little telephone booth over here. It has very nice attack around it. It can attack. You can see here as a big attack ongoing. You will probably know the Easter egg, or the not Easter egg, the idea where it's come from, the inspiration. It can load one single unit, which is the Auto Cronus Inquisitor over here, which requires also a relic. No, the unit actually requires a relic, and then you have him over here with some special abilities, which we will talk when we talk about the commander. So this is how you get him in the first place. He gets a little stuck here. Now quickly check if you can get any other units inside. I didn't check that before. You can actually, and then you can get orcs as well. Yes, you can get any units in here, but I think it only holds one unit, right? 2 units actually, okay, and then you can jump it over, and yes, you have a little jump available, but it's all tier 4, so it's more about the idea from the... You see here, they can also fit in and then jump. So this is your units. Now let's talk about the units. We'll talk about all the Praetorian Guard units first, infantry, vehicles and stuff, and then jump over to the Orc units, which have made them here a little camp for themselves. Your builder units we start with are your convicts. The convicts are, yeah, as the name suggests, guys from prison. They can work here to maybe get out of the jail a little bit earlier. They are relatively sturdy for what they are. They can build, they can repair, but they have one downside. If they lose morale, they will not follow your orders. They will walk around, but they will not be able to build and repair. So yeah, need to get them their morale in shape, and there you also get a parole officer over here. Adds health to the squad, and pistol, close combat weapon. Yeah, so it's more of a standard guy, which also has a little aura around him. I think it is. It looks like a health regeneration aura, but could also be some morale regeneration for the squad to make them, yeah, work harder or longer, you could say. Here's your assortment of your commanders. Your tier 1 first commander is the Lieutenant Colonel over here. The Lieutenant Colonel itself is a good-ish combatant with the health and stuff. Big morale, you can see here. Has a long-range scanner right away, so this is your tier 1 infiltration if you go for the Soulstorm mess. You can immediately get the scanner without an additional building. The other 2 abilities he has is also very nice. It's in Eddy Weather though, inspires the squad to back in shape. Will run and capture quicker, which is nice, but fireless actually. This is to disengage or to cap fast. The capping rate is pretty good with it, and yeah, but needs some time to activate. It will not be immediately. And then this is what makes a good soldier. They do their best to fire 3 rounds a minute. Improves accuracy. Basically, this is your Farseer guide in a sense, making the damage output of a unit very high, especially early on. The other tier 1 commander is a Commissar. Does Commissar things, adds health and boosts morale to attach. It says health, is it right? No, it boosts morale. And he can also use the execute ability in tier 2, and in tier 3 gets access to frag grenades, which I think should be similar to Cassican grenades, yes. So, but it's in tier 3. Very good combatant for its cost in early on as well. In tier 2 you get a different round of commanders. You get your Scout Major. The Scout Major itself is a sniper kind of unit. Do not get fooled by these values over here. This has a reason, and this is something that does not work here in the dev mode I have, which is the active reload. If it shoots, this bar will go up and down or whatever, and you must click it when it's right here so he can shoot faster. If you have some spare micro, you can use it to make his damage output quite better. It's not sure if it's like twice as much, but it's still very good. Has also a tracking device, which is basically the same tracking device as Dark Eldar have on their Hellions, but it's very useful on him, so he can track his enemy units and then shoot from afar. Also gets access to the Spotting Skull. This has a nickname Baldric. Increases his sight range and can also detect. And then we have this trifecta of cool commanders coming from your HQ. You have your medic, which does medic things, increases health regeneration around it, maximum of 2, I think. Then you have the, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw it somewhere, Bugler, the guy with the trumpet over here. He can detect because of this detection device, and can use his bugle, which is the same as an demoralizing shout from a chaplain. So very useful, slows and gives the enemy a morale break. And then we have the standard bearer over here, which has a command hour around it, which boosts the morale and I think also health of units around it, and can use a AoE rally ability, which can be very helpful for your very low morale guardsmen around. And then of course we have the Ordo Chronos Inquisitor here, which we have summoned before, which is by itself quite the handy commander. You can see here the health is high and does good damage. Maybe a little too low for a tier 4 commander. Maybe that's something I could suggest over here. And it has 3 different abilities. Regeneration, heals himself. Then he has the temporal exclusion. Unable to move or comprehend going around him. It's a stasis bomb. You need to target an ability. And then you have the sonic screwdriver. Enemy building to, what is it called? Incapacitate them, which basically maybe stuns them. That's an English word. I'm not really know what it means, but maybe it's a stun. More or less a cool Easter egg unit. So this is your commanders. Let's talk about your infantry. And your guardsman infantry, you can see here, is relatively limited in variations, but it's all okay. You have your irregulars coming from your HQ, which is basically your what I call again, conscript units. Very cheap. Quite the definition of cannon fodder. They cost only 10 requisition to reinforce. They have a sergeant, however, and they can get grenade launchers. Interesting thing about the first 2 infantry is that the grenade launchers do require the munition store, and each munition store also increases the amount of special weapons the regulars and also later the regulars can carry. So if you build like a whole bunch of munition stores, they can also get more special weapons. So there's quite an incentive to get more munition stores, not only for the vehicle cap, but also for your special weapons on the squads. Then you have the regulars over here, which doesn't look like a whole different than your guardsmen and stuff, but look at the special lasguns. They have martini pattern rifles, or whatever they're called, lasguns. They are, if you move them a bit, you will see it, need a little setup and shoot quite far and have relatively high damage. So they're more like, in the same sense, micro-wise as a fire warrior actually. So they are pretty good for what they are. They don't look as much and are really cheap to reinforce. Maybe that's something that can be adjusted, because they're very, very potent for what they do. The weapon upgrades, normally I do not go for them, except maybe for a grenade launcher, because especially the flamer reduces their attack range by quite a bit. The plasma gun can be useful depending on the situation, but in general their basic weapons are so good that you normally do not want to bother with different weapons here. Then you have an additional infantry units in tier 3, your grenadiers, which is your tier 3 big, how should I say, ranged combat unit. Gets a whole bunch of different grenades. You have the demolition charge, does enormous damage to vehicles and buildings, harmful to infantry. Frag grenades, which is the same as the Kazakin, yes. And then you have also crack grenades for enemy vehicles and buildings. They have different weapon options. Of course, they have a sergeant, but they have grenade launchers, sniper rifles, plasma guns, and melter guns. Also, the sniper rifles I find very interesting on a tier 3 squad. Can be very versatile, as you can see here, and normally always worth to get them, of course. And then in tier 4 you have these aerial trained commandos section, which is in general, look at the HP, very strong. They have also these frag grenades. Get down, boys! Melter guns and sniper rifles, and a commando sergeant over here. And they have one special thing. If their morale breaks, their health goes only like to 20% of the, which they have here. This may or may not have something with their lore. So the idea, if you face them in tier 4, that is, you want to break their morale, and then you can take them relatively easily. On the other hand, if you play them, of course, you want to keep their morale intact. So this is your infantry. Let's talk about the vehicles. In tier 2 you have access to 3 different vehicles. You have your Gryphon 4 pattern Chimera, basically Chimera. I think it shoots these sponsors if units are inside. Other than that, it has a multi-laser on top, a heavy bolt at the hull, and also a heavy stopper on top. Very a lot of weapons already. And can get 2 different weapon upgrades. You can get a heavy flamer or a twin-link Gatling gun. And normally people go for the Gatling gun. You see that it's very costly. It also takes quite a long time to build, but it has some suppressions in slow the opponent, which is generally very useful, especially if you have multiple of these chimeras. We see how it looks once it's upgraded. Then you have the Hermes pattern Sentinel, which is really cool if you ask me. Who needs a hull around him if you can have this one? Has a whole lot of different weapons. It can get autocannons and heavy flamers right away, and later in tier 3 can get plasma cannons and las cannons, making him very versatile against infantry and vehicles alike. You see it's still not done here. And there you go. Twin-link Gatling gun, cannon Gatling gun, dealing quite a lot of suppression. Then you have the Gryphon heavy mortar, which is the only artillery you have access to for them in tier 2. Not the longest range of artillery, you can see here. It's good range, but not the longest. But the Griffon is, with the smoke shell, very useful. It can, if you see it here, the smoke shell does give some defensive bonuses and also infiltrate units, infantry units. That is, I think vehicles are too big to get infiltrated. Not sure if they get the defensive bonuses or not. Chimera, of course, can transport stuff. I mean, that's normally what you would expect. In tier 3, you get access to one of the 2 tank commanders. They are currently one of the strongest units around for tier 3, and this has one reason. They have an aura around them, which was actually, I talked about the devs, not intended to be that strong as it is. So this, I know this for a fact that this aura they have around them will be removed in the next version. So the aura is like increasing damage and decreases damage taken and stuff like that. So this will be removed. So they are more in the strength level they are designed to be. Okay, the one tank commander is the male tank commander called Captain Bernard Haig. He has this, what is it called, the Exterminator Lehman Russ with a las cannon, it looks like, twin-linked auto cannon on top, twin-linked auto cannons and sponsored plasma cannons. So he's more about the close range department, where his female counterpart, Sydney McLintock, you see her over here, has a Vanquisher. So she has the tank with the longer range. Okay, and actually I have it on the, because they have only one. So the range is quite impactful. Also has the grenade stuff around it. Can fire on the ground. Yeah, very long range, of course. I normally tend to go for the lady because I like tanks with long range. But yeah, you can can get both really. And then in tier 4 you have access to your more or less standard quote-unquote Lehman Russ battle tank, but also with a heavy stub on top, has more or less standard loader. And what is interesting, you can upgrade the side sponsors and the main weapons independently. You can get flamers all around, and for the sides you can also get then plasma cannons, I think. And on the top you cycle through. The first one is no melter guns. It is. You can get flamers on all sides, and the front and to 2 sides, and the sides can then after the flamer also exchange by the multi-melter, but not the front one. And then the top cycles through for Conqueror, and there's a second one that I forgot, and the last one is an exterminator, basically plasma cannon. Let's quickly see. The Conqueror is shorter range. No, what is it called? Okay, they have this another cannon and multiple heavy bolters. Then you can get the Punisher, which gets this Gatling cannon, and the last one is then the one with the I think it's called Exterminator. Let's quickly check my knowledge of the different names. I sometimes do not know it right away. Executioner, sorry, Executioner, of course, which is the thing with the plasma cannon on top. You also have access to a flyer, which is your Vulture gunship in tier 3. Has a whole bunch of cannons and missiles and stuff, but no special abilities in the sense. It's called Harriers. They have sometimes cool names to it. And yeah, it's very good for what it is. Shares a cap with the flyer unit here. We will later see from the Blood X Mercs. Up to 4 shared cap with those. And then we have here the Relic, the tier 1 Titan and the tier 2 Titan. So you can see it on the number of weapons on it, what is what. It's so funny. We have the Shadow Sword over here with a big old barrel on the top. Has heavy bolters on each side. Of course, a guy with a heavy stubber because it's Praetorian Guard. 2 less cannons on the side. Your tier 1 Titan is your no, this is your Storm Hammer over here. And look at this is just too good. It has like twin-linked battle cannons, or what is it called? 2 twin-linked battle cannons. Guy, of course, has like 1, 2, 3, 4 twin-linked heavy bolters and 4 less cannons. So how much cannons and guns you can put on one? Really, really impressive. And then you have here the Arcurian Stormhammer, which is, they have also names. This is called Excalibur, Lancelot, and Galahad. So like the guys from what's it called again? Jesus Christ, how am I missing these names? From the King Saga in Britain over there. Then you have also like twin linked battle cannon over here, another battle cannon, a last cannon, another last cannon, and another 3 last cannons, and another 3 last cannons. So it's how many weapons you can fit on one of these. And yeah, they have also pretty nice voiceovers, and I really like that this one has also the British flag on it, because why the heck not? Very potent if you didn't hear me saying, but yeah, they can, yeah. Tier Titans and Relic units are very strong for Imperial Guard, especially with the ability to repair them if need be. Okay, so this is your quote-unquote normal guardsman stuff. And now we have also the Blood X Mercs over here. In tier 1 you get access to these Blood X Mercs, which is your standard infantry. They can get burners right away in tier 1. And big shooters with the munition store. Big shooters are, however, limited to 2 because they were a bit too strong early on. And also rocket launchers in tier 2. They can also get a Blood X Knob in tier 2, which gives them the Emperor's Coin. Basically, if they lose morale, you can click this to pay some requisition to, get their morale back on, because they have more coins to fight for. And then you have this little bomb squig over here, which is as awesome as it sounds. It can run in, you can manually detonate it, but also if you right click it on an enemy unit, it will automatically explode next to unit. The explosion radius is not the highest, but any unit in the explosion radius will be suffering quite the damage. It basically immediately kills like most tier 1 capping squads and builders. like builder squads. But yeah, you need to get relatively close, and it has only 100 HP, so it can be sniped really well. This is also your tier 1 detection if you go orcs, because yeah, the squigs can sniff stuff. In tier 2, you get access to 2 cool vehicles. You have your Grot tank, which is a low HP mini Grot tank over here, which has quite the artillery kind of support role. Only costs 1 vehicle pop, which is quite good. Very small battle cannon and bolter. Oh, I also have a bolter, of course. And then you have here the Blood Axe killer cannon. Killer cannons in general are really nice. They have vehicle high armor, so very tough to break. Have this shooter over here, this mean looking sword, and can also have rocket launchers right away if need be. In tier 3 you get access to the Orc Commandos, which is yeah, your tier 3 infantry specialists. They are infiltrated right from the get-go, has an assortment of abilities, can also get big shooters and rocket launchers, of course. And abilities are tank buster bombs. Yeah, they can throw out tank buster bombs on any vehicles and buildings. They can call in a bomber run, which is really nice. It takes, you mark an area, and then it will get a lot of different bombings coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 bombing runs, and also have the Emperor's Coin, but more expensive because they are better units. Your tier 4 unit, which is kind of looking the wrong way over here, is your Blood Axe Looted Lehman Russ Battle Tank. Quite a long name. It's basically, it's because you want to shoot, that's why. It is a Lehman Russ battle tank, a looted battle tank, with the heavy bolters at each side and the cannon on top. The top cannon can be exchanged to the zap gun, which is similar to how normal orcs work. And then you have here 2 special units. One is the Blood Axe Stomper over here, which is your relic unit if you go for the Blood Axe Mercs. Has a shared cap with the Shadow Sword, however, because you only can have 1 relic unit. Good in melee, good in range. Can also have units inside of it, but as if you see the unit card and also this mean looking claw here, it excels in melee combat. And then you have here the Battle Wagon, which is your super heavy, so does not share a cap with your relic units, but is relatively expensive, of course. Has a lot of different weapon assortments, and I think can carry 2 mobs of orcs either internally or charging onto its handholds. It says, I'm not sure if the units inside use some guns or not, but yeah, has a lot of different guns as is. And then of course, as told earlier, the burner bomber. So they have a tier 3 aircraft which has the burner bombing run, which is yeah, basically similar to the bombing run of Imperial Guard, what is called Marauder Bomber. As you can see, you should use it at the maximum range, because if you only click it in the minimum range, it will get lesser bombs out of it. And I think if I haven't missed anything, this should be all the different units in vehicles and stuff, so we can now jump into the tech tree, where I will tell you something about your tier strengths and stuff like that. So see you over there. And I totally not forgot to tell you about the different teams over here. Yeah, you have the different tier 2 special or heavy weapon teams. You have your Gatling gun team over here, which is more or less your standard guardsman kind of way of the units. You have this guy with another guy in the backpack, which you can then put out of here, and it gets a Gatling gun instead of a heavy bolter, which has also suppression, which is very nice. And I think all of these are. This is actually kept only at 8, which is interesting. I think the others are kept at 3 each. Yeah, there you go. The other teams, as we talk about them, is a mortar team and a anti-tank team. And you may wonder about the price and whatever, that is really cheap for 3 dudes, but look at the HP. They only have 250 HP each of the teams. So you can think of it also in the terms of damage output of these. Is meant that each of these is more of a third of if you would have a singular dude of different factions. So this is how it's implemented, and it also means that they also need only 1 carrying spot and stuff like that. This is all intended. It looks like, oh my god, they have so much weapons on it, but yeah, the damage is actually lower. Also the reinforcement cost for that reason is lower, and it looks like it's very cheap, but remember, it is one of these guys is only meant to be a third of a singular mortar unit in a different faction. So you have mortars without special abilities, and then you have the anti-tank team also with no ability special, but you see they get random either a missile launcher or a las cannon, but the damage for those is the same basically. It adds just a little flavor to them, and they have the same thing with the mortars, that one of these three is meant to be 1/3, or in other words, a whole bunch of three is similar to, let's say, one unit of IG heavy weapon team, or different weapon teams in like Death Cove Creek and stuff like that. Okay, now we have all units, I swear. And here you are on the tech tree document, where you see all the different units and stuff in one fell swoop. If you kind of know how to read it, it's basically what the building is. Each building has one column, and then you see the different requirements, tier 1, tier 2, and some additional units. What does it require and stuff like that. I do not want to go through all the different details, because most of it I have told you in the guide video in the save game already. So what I want to talk about is the tier strengths, and there's one thing why this is why also Praetorian Guard is considered very strong right now, is that they do not have any weak tier. They start pretty good in tier 1 with the regulars and also Blood Axe Mercs, both of which are pretty good. Currently, I think in the current meta, you want to go for the soldier mess, because the regulars and also the commander is very strong. So this is normally, I think, the way you want to go. In tier 2, it gets even better with the different units over here, and also the teams are used by a lot of players. Like you have the tank team. Oh, these I haven't showed you in the video. Oh, maybe I will, in a little magic way, have added in post-production. So yeah, I've probably also already told you about them. And yeah, also your vehicles you get, like the Chimera and stuff, is very, very good for its tier with its different stuff. And in tier 3 it gets even better because of the very strong tank commanders, which are a bit too strong right now. That will be amended. And also your vulture gunships are really nice. What makes these vehicles even better is that your builder units are a squad, which is relatively tanky. Yeah, so this makes your vehicles in a sense even stronger. Your infantry with the commandos and the grenadiers are not getting as much stronger, but the vehicles pretty much make up for it. And yeah, in tier 4 it gets also better, because you have, depending on the branch, Lehman Russ. You have a tier 4 infantry, which you can build from your HQ. You have relic options, a super heavy option, and in tier 1 and tier 2 Titan. So very good options in tier 4 as well. But yeah, I think the strength of Praetorian Guard is tier 2. And I think the strongest tiers are tier 1 with regulars right away, and then tier 3 with the different vehicle options. I didn't told you about the upgrades of the orcs over here. In tier 2 you can get the heavy boy armor, which increases the armor of all your Blood Axe Merc infantry. More choppy increases the melee damage, so you can use them in melee if need be, and you can get even more choppy for more melee. And this extra armor plating here gives your orc vehicles more armor, more HP basically. Yeah, I think this is it about the tier strengths over here. Let's quickly check the units. Most of it I have explained to you right away. Most or all sergeants require tier 2, which is different than Imperial Guard normally. Imperial Guard normally the sergeants require your tier 1.5, but here it is tier 2, which is, I think, fair considering the general strength of them. Commandos over here showing stuff what they need, the different weapon cycling through, and the requirements for the vehicles are also here. And yeah, your survival reinforcements are also all more or less standard units. It's a Blood Axe Merc, a Killer Can, Commandos, Lehman Russ Battle Tank, and then another Shadow Sword. So I think this covers the tech tree, so we now can jump over to the build orders. And here we are in the build order document. As the usual guys, how to read them. Everything in top left is built with your starting money. And everything right from it is built before you click the tier 2 button. Your quote-unquote standard opener is to get 2 irregulars, another builder, soldier's mess, and a turret. Yes, a turret, not a generator. I would say this turret is more or less mandatory in defensive positions or aggressive. There are very, how should I say, good turret positions on different maps, like from Father Morka next to the relic, Meeting of Minds next to the relic, of course, also, and stuff like that. So it makes your defending pretty easily. You can also use it offensively. You get 1 regular and your lieutenant colonel, add another regular, and then want to head to tier 2. They can sustain without any upgrades pretty good in tier 1. Then you have your regular spam, which has a little mistake, needs to get a line over here. I will change that. Basically, you go without a generator. You get only this here. You're going to only get this infantry building, get 2 irregulars right away, build a listening post, get another regular on the way, and then you have this can decide either get the aid station for the upgrade or add the lieutenant colonel. And also you want to add some lieutenants later on to have like 1 squad leader in each of these squads. And with the upgrades, they can be very potent and deadly in tier 1. So basically an extended tier 1, if you might want to think about it. You can also use irregular spam, which is a little more dicey. You basically build a munition store right away, so they can get grenade launchers. Up to 2 grenade launchers per squad. So you do not want to reinforce them. Oh god, you do not want to, because 20 models in a squad is absolutely not playable, pathing wise. But if you want to reinforce them a bit, you can get them to, let's say, 10-ish guys. And then you get also the aid station to give them some much needed morale and HP upgrades so they can actually sustain a fight. And you want to get up to 5 because this is all your infantry pop build. Then 1 of these buildings before you head to tier 2, of course, because this is a requirement for tier 2. You can get orcs as big shooters. There are different variants of this build. The variant I favor is you get the Blood Axe Mercs and immediately a munition store. This allows you for up to 5 big shooters, I think, with the remaining power you have. So you can get your first 2 squads 2 big shooters. In this build, to be very effective, you might delay this builder just a bit. So you can actually get your listening posts up right away. So you then can have enough resources for your Blood Axe Mercs. You also want to use your irregulars with your grenade launchers a bit to support. Then you get like some generators on, and this is not a mistake. You can get either health station or a bunker. It's either offensive. The bunker can be offensive, defensive. The aid station is more meant for sustaining an aggressive stance. And then more generators and tier 2. There's a different variant. I think Huntington favors to use. He basically gets the generator right away and only 1 Blood Axe Merc, but this allows and then uses his irregulars right away, or 1 of the squads. So this is his fighting force. Only 1 capping squad remains, and later on adds, I think, 1 Blood Axe Mercs. Not sure if he goes for 3, which I recommend here, but I think he stays with 2 and then gets a faster tier 2 without a bunker and stuff. I think. I've casted a few Huntington games and a few of them with Praetorian Guard. You might want to look up these to see how he plays it. Then you have a tier 2 rush, which is your standard, fast and dirty tier 2 rush. It is very good to do it with the orc camp as it is so cheap. So then you could also get, I think, another generator as well. So you are in tier 2 better set up. Very dangerous, of course, the tier 2 rush, because you have only regulars and that's it. And this is a very meme-ish build over here, is quick spam, which you use against AI to mediocre success. Basically, you build 2 orc camps and an offensive bunker that is covered by your constant productions of squigs you want to put in your opponent's space and on their units and stuff. Can be very fun, but it's normally not cost effective because these squigs cost 50 requisition and it's hard to kill 50 requisition worth of units with them normally, as some of them explode before the target, and their building damage is basically very low for what they cost. So yeah, more of a meme build. If you really want to play it like as a real build, you might want to get only like 4 of these and then get 2 Blood X Mercs or something like that to make it kind of worthwhile going for it. The offensive turret is basically what makes it worth. The issue with this build is of course commanders, which laugh about the quick damage, which is more meant to be AoE. Okay, so this is the build orders out of the way, and we will of course finish with a replay. It is a game I played against Conor in a live stream of his, because it sometimes join his live streams, and normally play factions that I currently work on a guide on. So yeah, there you go. I did this once again before. I don't remember which faction it was, but yeah, there you go. Another video of me playing against him for the guide video. For this, I use a mixture of the standard and stuff. So this is not directly the standard or the regular spam, but something in the middle. Yeah, basically you can of course adjust these build orders as you like. For example, you can skip the bunker for another generator and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, jump into replay. And here we are in the replay where I play Praetorian Guard against Conor from Far Beyond, who plays Renegade Guard Techtrees Shogunate. He really likes to play Renegade Guard, especially Techtrees Shogunate. And you see here that I actually made this played this game before I made the build order, so I go for a generator. So Soldier's Mess generator, so more of economy based opener, which you can also go. But as I said, a turret is normally better than this. Going for 2 irregulars into convicts, however, this is standard. Yeah, the Soldier Mess then I will use to cap this point, whereas the irregulars go to cap this outside of point. Very nice map also in Praetorian. I really enjoyed. Has this very interesting way at the middle, but also this outside rows. They do not get a whole lot of attention, but can be very important in the later tiers actually. And normally in the first tiers, the middle is the point of contestment. There you go, the first regular section over here. There's their Martini pattern rifles. Going for the capture as well. And yeah, building the first point over here. Second builder will come out, and I do not remember really where I sent them. Also now going for the Lieutenant Colonel, there you go. If you go for a turret, you can immediately get them. If you go for the generator, you see also you pile up quite some power as well.
We've done it! But Terror, we've done it!
We've done it!
The objective is ours.
So there you go, capping for the most part, and then yeah, want to get more of these regulars later on to fight.
I am a Lieutenant Colonel.
There you go.
Pay attention, my boy. I am the senior officer here. Attention.
Yeah, for now just building up and planning what to do next. Going for the capture with the irregulars. Irregulars go a little bit aggressive to see if they can do something over here. But there you see that Conor is getting aggressive right away on its own. These regulars, you see, irregulars really want to disengage as fast as you can and only attack if you have some support. And now you see the damage of these Martini pattern rifles. They also seem to have some kind of knockback, it seems. Which is maybe... What? There's some knockback here. Is it the guns of these guys? I sent the convicts in melee to help here, which is normally a good idea. Here you hear the guide being added to these regulars over here, which increases the accuracy, so they should deal quite a lot of damage. And you want to focus the warriors, of course. There's now a melee going on with the commander over here, so which commander handily will lose, but yeah, still the Eternal Shogun here is now tied down. These irregulars actually got also the guide, it looks like. No, there's one regular kind of split off over here. My irregulars here do not fight anymore. It's another squad of regulars, and they can hold their own against these units if they need to be. They actually should go into melee, if you ask me. And these guys even standing here strong. The Shogun is now out of position, I get a third squad of regulars over here. So this is, as I said, more of a regular spam. Upgrading also a listing post. Which one did I upgrade over here to be able to use some of the shooty bits of it? And yeah, the regulars attacking here. And yeah, this is the Shogun on her own, which will, yeah, not be good for her. Killing one dude very special. There comes in more of these Tekken warriors, quite a lot of Tekken warriors being killed already. And I have now my 3 regulars with my lieutenant colonel, so I'm looking pretty hot over here. Not sure if I add some commissars right away, not yet. Focusing on reinforcing those guys and upgrading some points for some economy. There you go, now I got 2 commissars for the squads and want to be aggressive now. Using some scans to see, actually she did get away with only a handful of HP, so that's why I wanted to scan to see her and maybe kill her. And now I'm setting my eyes on the first listing post over here. You see the range of them is pretty good. They do not outrange a listing post, but yeah, in general it's a good range overall. Standing in the forest, in the burning forest of Blood Ravine, firing at this shady listing post over here. And yeah, if you want to run in against them, you want to run in all together, because if not, you are dying pretty handily. How much do these cost to reinforce? Yeah, 25. So I think these also should be costing 25 for what they do here. What do I get? Do I get the? Okay, I get a relatively fast T2. So this is a mixture of the regular spam and general the standard opener over here. So you can, of course, get your own build orders on the way. And also, yeah, you need to get a little, how should I say, creative as the game progresses. And I'm also wanting to get a turret, because this is a prime turret position, especially for this turret over here. I do not think it ranges to this point, but it ranges to here. And next to this little point over here, it cannot be attacked as easily in melee. So this is a very good aggressive turret position in general. And as I said, orc bunkers are really good as they are, so I can blast with some models of these squads over here. And then I have also a point to contest and sit here. Other than that, my irregulars are here capping the map, getting this point, so I do not need a whole lot of units in the squad. I think these I reinforced a bunch. Now also get the middle over here. I have 1 point not taken yet. Do I order them to get over? I should. Now tier 2 is finished, so now I can use the executability on my commissar squads over here. And other than that, being quite annoying over here, attacking this point now with the orc bunker. What do I get actually in tier 2? Anti-tank team, but I do not have enough population. I would need another floor add-on. Let's see if I think about it. And other than that, I move in and try to kill them, get my sergeants out, because they increase the health and stuff. I should actually not cap this here. The Shogun is being killed. I get an aid station here to get my position even cleared and get even the upgrades if I need be. So this is very deadly for Conrad over here, getting this point decapped. Actually getting now a thermoplasma generator, so I can now get my vehicle production building out as well, somewhere where I want to be, get a point in the middle, because I can. And yeah, this looks really dire for him. So you can really see how strong the regulars are in tier 1. Yeah, GG it is. I would have now gotten my upgrades here, wouldn't get my vehicle production facilities at some point, upgrading some listening posts. There you see the first floor add-on, so I would have an anti-tank team at hand as well. So yeah, a good hold from me over here, maybe a little overzealous from him attacking me that early. Yeah, but normally you can. The Shogun is really good in right away, so you might as well go for it. But yeah, you see how good the regulars are in tier 1 with their Martini pattern rifles. Yeah. So this ends the guide. If I forgot to say something, or if I want to have to add something to my guide, or if I have told you some wrong information, please put it all in the comments below, so you can, the guys watching this video can immediately see what are the correct and more answers to it. Yeah, and as usual, guys, if you like these kind of videos, please leave a comment and leave a like. These are very time consuming to do, so I'm yeah, getting all the more motivated if with some nice feedback. Yeah, enough of that. As usual, guys, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.